Hey there, world travelers and adventure seekers. Welcome to another sass-filled episode of But Did You Die with the Jet Sisters.
That's right. We are your favorite globe-trotting duo. I'm Rachel, and this is my big sister Angie, and we are here to share travel news, tips, and of course, disasters from our adventures.
So buckle up, folks, because we're about to take you on a journey where every mishap is a story, and every story ends with the question, but did you die? So here we are.
It's been so long since we've done this, and that's not our fault because there were 2 hurricanes. So blame it on Florida.
Yeah, Florida with 3 exclamation points has really been Florida-ing this hurricane season. And we had 2 hurricanes since the last, I think since our last episode went up, Helene and Milton. But let's not forget about Debbie, who barreled through here in August and kind of gave us, oh yeah, don't forget about Debbie. Maybe you didn't get it in Central Florida, but we definitely got it up here. So yeah, we've had Debbie, Milton, and Helene in the course of like 8 weeks. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing. And that's pretty much what our travel news is too, because that's kind of all we've had going on. Like when you're preparing for a hurricane and then you're waiting for it and then it hits and then you have aftermath, right? And then you get back to normal life, except we didn't really get to do that because we just went into the next one and the next prep cycle.
No, and a lot of people still in Central Florida don't have power, which is crazy. And we thankfully didn't lose power and like everything was good. We had some fence damage, but other than that, we were pretty much good. But holy crap.
37,000 people still don't have power in Central Florida. And that just completely pales in comparison to what's going on in North Carolina. That is just on a whole other level of destruction and sort of unbelievable. Like they're going to need to remap the mountains because rivers have changed position and there's just stuff that isn't there anymore. Whole roads, bridges. And I think, us being in Florida, we get a little bit used to hurricanes and we're like, oh yeah, everything's closed for one day. And then we kind of figure it out and pack it, take the branches away, just depending on where you live. But Asheville and just Western North Carolina. And I also found out like St. Simon's Island and sort of southeastern Georgia really got hammered. And I have heard nothing about it except from friends who have like family there. It's absolutely wild.
I did not know that area of the mountains could be affected by a hurricane, but oh my gosh, I mean, it's devastating. It is horrible to see. And yeah, that was the last hurricane. Insane. I have to say this before we continue for our viewers watching. Ange, I need you to move your chair up like a whole bunch.
It's just my desk is up is the problem.
Got it.
Is that better?
You were at the bottom of the screen and I was like,
I'm really starting to think this video podcast part of our podcast is not the best idea because we would probably do it so much more often if we didn't have to be, presentable to the public.
On camera. Oh, no, that was great. You were talking about something very serious and I was trying not to laugh because you just looked very short.
Because I will whittle. Well, yes.
Very small.
I thought you were going to make fun of me for my like weather hyperfixation.
No, you did way better this year. In fact, I had people text me being
I knew it.
Freaking out.
That's because most people don't follow me on Threads. And I took my hyperfixation over to Threads for these most recent disasters. And those people hate me now. Well, some of them really like me. Some of them really hate me. I guess it's kind of polarizing. But I don't know.
No. Speaking of people who hate you, you know what was not on my bingo card for fighting with you on the internet?
What?
Is that one guy from TikTok, the really, really funny guy from TikTok who talks about hurricanes, who I love his stuff, was mean to you.
He was really mean to me. No, and now I don't like your videos anymore. And I used to be a big supporter of this guy. And yeah, I'm sure everybody would recognize him. He's like famous Florida guy on TikTok and posts funny things, but he posted something kind of casual about, nobody in Florida cares about hurricanes. Like no one's ever died from this. And I was kind of like, hey buddy, that's not great. Like, responsible advice to give to people. There's so many people that live in Florida that haven't been here since they were kids. Also, I guess our education system, like, I don't think anybody goes to school anymore, or else I don't know what they're being taught, but it's definitely not like map and graph literacy or how to save your own life kind of details. I just don't think there's a lot of survivor skills. So at any rate, I said something and he was like, "You're a liar. You're not even from Florida, you liar." And I almost had to show him my birth certificate. Like, it was a whole thing. So yeah, the internet is a messy, messy place.
His videos, they're so funny, but now every time I see him, I was like, "You are mean to my sister.
You're mean to my sister."
Not
I know.
cool.
I don't comment unkind things ever, but every so often I'm like, if I don't correct this wrong, people are going to die and I have to save everyone. I have a very strong sense of justice. So, it gets very frustrating. And that's kind of the whole thing about being on the internet during a hurricane. I think that stresses me out more than the hurricane, because I feel like if somebody doesn't tell all these people how to evacuate and where to put their pets and, all the stuff, and nobody's telling them. But also I think people are willfully stupid.
Speaking of where to put your pets, it's not tied up to the side of the road. Did you see that they found the guy and he's getting charged with animal cruelty?
Wouldn't you know, I read the entire police report and investigation. Of course I know. I think I read that about 3:00 this morning. Yes.
Let me explain this to everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, because you don't live in Florida. So while people were evacuating for Hurricane Milton, somebody tied up their dog on the side of the road where the water was rising. And so
it was already rising.
Yeah. When someone found the dog, it was like neck up in the water. They
tied.
rescued it. Yeah, tied. Like, you can't bring your pet with you to evacuate, so you tie it outdoors.
So it drowns for sure?
Yeah. So somebody got it, rescued it, but I think it had a microchip. And so they found the owner, and now he's getting, not microchip.
This guy comes back to animal control to claim his dog because he saw it on the news. So he went back to be like, "Oh yeah, that's my dog." And they were like, "Cool, you're going to jail, you and your mom." Like, what? Like, if you couldn't take your dog with you, you could just let your dog go. You don't have to tie him to it. Like, you wanted your dog to die and now you want him back? No, I don't think so. And they called the dog Trooper now because he was a trooper, and he was so scared when they found him, and now he's so happy. I know.
Talk about this anymore. I'm gonna
cry. I can't either.
Cool. Okay, so we did travel news, which was hurricanes are scary and terrible.
And we're over hurricane season. We're just over it. And it's not over.
Literally.
No, we're like figuratively over it, and we still have like 6 weeks to go, 5 or 6 weeks to go.
Well, I will be out of town next week, so hopefully we're good. And then I will be out of town. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, next topic. Let's get into
our destination of the week.
Already?
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, unless you want to go back and I didn't talk about all the things that grind my gears, which I think would be
we'll be here all day.
Spectacular segment, but
all right, fast facts, fast gears. What grinds your gears, Ange? Go. You've got 15 seconds.
Here's what grinds my gears. When people say it's only a category 3, and then, like 1,000 people die. To heck with those people. How about after the hurricane? The power has been off for 4 hours. I'm hot. The city wasn't ready for this. Like, excuse me, I will punch all those people in the face personally. How about no one told us it was going to be this bad? Who are you listening to? That guy from TikTok? That's the problem. And then on the other side of that, people say, "Oh, that was so overhyped because their roof didn't blow off and their house didn't flood." Meanwhile, like the next street over, no one has a house anymore. So like all those things grind my gears. And this is why I really wanted to throw my phone in the pool for the duration of these storms, because people are just infuriating. And they say these things with their whole mouth, like on purpose on the internet.
Their whole mouth. I've never
Their
heard
whole
that.
mouth. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into a travel topic, which is fun because it's an island in the Caribbean. A place you don't want to be during a hurricane.
No, ideally not. Let's talk about St. Lucia. Have you been to St. Lucia?
I want to. Have been to St. Lucia.
So the reason I want to talk about St. Lucia this week is twofold or tenfold, whatever. Rick and I have been twice. We went once, just flew straight there and spent a week on the island. And then the other time it was a cruise port for us. And so one of the reasons it's been on my mind this week is because our friends Evan and Shannon are on their honeymoon right now on a glorious luxury cruise throughout the Caribbean. And so, of course, I've been watching this tropical system come off the African coast, heading straight toward them. And I'm like, oh, I hope their itinerary isn't messed up. And was very happy to see today that they posted pictures in St. Lucia from their anniversary. And so very happy for them that that worked out. But you just never know when it's hurricane season, how it's going to go. So we'll talk about that later, but let's just talk about St. Lucia as a destination, first of all, because what initially drew me there was the hotel Jade Mountain. Do you know, when I say Jade Mountain, do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, because I'll be honest, I don't know too much about St. Lucia. Like, I know the Bahamas exist, but this isn't really near the Bahamas. It's actually further than you think.
Yeah, it's much further south. In fact, when we did our cruise there, we flew all the way to Puerto Rico and then went out of there. So it's far enough that, you're taking a 2-3 hour flight south and then going even further south from there. So it's definitely way down in the southern Caribbean. It's kind of it's like in the neighborhood of Barbados, and I'm trying to think what else is down there. Montserrat, as if that's going to give anybody a clue. Dominica. It's just way down there. It's further south. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's further south than the Virgin Islands. Like it's way down there. So anyways, the famous postcard picture of Jade Mountain is these two, I don't know if they're still volcanic, but I think volcanic, inactive volcanoes. Anyway, two mountains, and they're called the Pitons. There's like a really tall one and then a little flatter one. And that's like the iconic, that's how you can recognize St. Lucia instantly, is from the Pitons.
Pitons, not to be confused with Grand Tetons.
Which I think mean the same thing, maybe. And you can look that up on your own time, what Pitons and Tetons are about. But anyway, so I knew about St. Lucia because I had seen it on The Bachelor as one of their like exotic destinations. And Jade Mountain, I think, was one of the hotels where they did like the ultimate rose ceremony, like the final, right? With the proposing and the whatever. So anyway, this is a spectacular hotel, architecturally really different, really colorful. Anyway, I always knew I wanted to go there. So that's one reason we picked St. Lucia, but then found this other hotel. So this is on one side of the Pitons. Found this other hotel that is on a ridge between the two mountains, and it's called Ladera. And it's totally different than Jade Mountain, other than all the rooms only have 3 walls. So for both of these hotels, one wall is just completely open. It's not a screen. It's not a window. It's just open to the sea and the mountains and whatever. So of course, me being a complete bug phobe, have katsurita like nobody's business, I was like, this could be such a terrible trip if there are bugs all up in our room. We're talking no wall in the jungle. And it was fine. Like, didn't have a problem at all. It was lovely. Never even was scared. So good job, hotels with only 3 walls. Like, you couldn't do that in Florida.
Oh no. I mean, alligators, mosquitoes, you name it.
Snakes, ginormous flying, what's, like, we wouldn't want that. So we stayed in these 2 hotels when we went, and they were just amazing. From food to architecture to service, amazing. And then there's a lot of fun things to do there. So a lot of people go, there's like these bubbling mud pits because there is some active volcanic whatever in there, but they're not so hot like in Yellowstone that you can't touch them. So you can just go sit in these mud pits, and then you just cover yourself in mud, and it's supposed to be like really romantic. We had our guide. He was like, okay, now kiss each other. And Rick and I are just covered in mud, and we're like, okay. So it was like a little bit of weird romance, but in the end, it was pretty fun. The main capital I think it's the capital of St. Lucia is Soufriere. I don't think that's how most people say it, but that would be like the French way of saying it. Soufriere, something like that.
Is it a French-speaking island?
I don't recall everybody speaking French. And there's some, other ones that definitely speak a lot of French or Dutch, but I don't remember everybody speaking French there. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm sure in the hotels everyone's speaking English because it's such a popular honeymoon destination.
We might have to Google it because I do not recall that.
I will Google it.
So the mud baths, it's they call it the only drive-in volcano in the Caribbean because you can literally just kind of drive through the sulfurous area. So Soufriere, which is this main port, or the main city, like they have an old town, and it's kind of like any of those old colonized towns that you find in the Caribbean. And it means like sulfur smell. Soufriere means sulfur smell, and that's from the volcanic activity. So if you don't have a good breeze coming through, which most of the time you do, if you don't, it smells a little funny, but nothing you can't deal with. What else?
English. It's English with some French, but mostly everyone on the island speaks English. Okay, so it's a romantic destination, so you can go, you can chill, you can have views, you can swim. But I mean, there's volcanoes, so I'm sure there's hiking and outdoorsy.
Let me tell you about the hiking. Rick hiked to the top of one of the Pitons while I got a massage, and he went so fast that he was back before my massage was done. I mean, it wasn't like, like he was back in 45 minutes, but however it worked out, he like walked in because I was getting a massage in my room. I was like having a time. And he comes back so sweaty, and he had a guide. They recommend you go with a guide, but he's so proud of himself to this day. He will tell everybody how he climbed the Pitons. And I'm like, yeah, nobody wants to do that. They're pretty high up, and they're also a UNESCO World Heritage site. So if you're checking those off your bucket list, they also
so many of those.
There really are
so many.
You can be in one
thousands.
and be. That's possible. I mean, when you think about it, it's the whole world. The whole world has history everywhere. So
I know I've been to at least 2 off the top of my head.
Bath.
Oh, 3.
Okay.
One, Mount Vesuvius.
You haven't been to Mount Vesuvius?
I'm wrong. What's the explosion?
Pompeii. Yeah, well, that is Mount Vesuvius. I didn't go with you. That's why I was like, we didn't go to Mount Vesuvius. That's because we went.
So that was one. Yep. Dude, I had the other one in my head. Oh, I was just there. Guatemala. Antigua is one.
Oh, okay.
I guess Bath is one. So I've definitely been to 3.
I really like going to a UNESCO World Heritage site. And I think, our buddy Gary, who does the podcast, I think it's called Everything Everywhere. Very popular daily podcast. And he is trying to go to all the UNESCO World Heritage sites. And if he hasn't already, he's probably pretty close because he goes everywhere. He's truly been everywhere.
1,200, about 1,200.
About 1,200
what this is saying.
I forgot what we were talking about.
It's been 10 seconds. The UNESCO
Listen.
World Heritage.
Oh, yeah. So there's how many of them?
1,200-ish.
Okay. I don't know how many I've been to.
Oh,
but
you know what? I think there's one in Peru I've been to. I could be here all day doing this. So, hey, next podcast, I will tell everyone. Oh, Israel? Yeah, I've been to way more than 3.
Okay. Yeah. We've been to lots. That's for sure. Here's something a lot of people don't know. So you've got the Pitons in St. Lucia, right? So at the bottom of the Pitons is the sea. And right around there, so the Pitons go all the way down, they're like a big volcano, but they go all the way down to the ocean floor. So they're actually taller than just what you see. And all down there is amazing snorkeling. Really, really good, like right off the shore. And if you stay at Ladera, there's a little shuttle that'll drive you down the hill to the beach. And then there's another hotel at the bottom. So super fun, great snorkeling. We went sailing there. That was the first time we've ever been sailing. And then, like I said, we went on a cruise there years later and had a stop there. And we stopped in a different part of the island and it was with Windstar Cruises, and they have a whole beach day for you where you just have the beach to yourself. And it's this incredible all you can eat picnic. And it was just, chef's kiss. But we didn't do anything in St. Lucia other than this sort of like private picnic. So I was glad that we had been there before and kind of experienced it. Highly recommend and would totally go back. And so glad that Evan and Shannon spent their like honeymoon anniversary on St. Lucia, because that's such a sweet, sweet island.
That's fun. We had looked at it for the honeymoon, but I think the hotels we were looking at were more expensive than we wanted to spend. Speaking of, how much those resorts that you booked, how much are we looking a night?
I would have to Google it because it's been years and Lord knows the prices of everything have gone up significantly, but it was expensive when we went there. So you're getting like at Jade Mountain, you're getting this huge open room. We have a pool in our room. Same thing with Ladera. We have our own pool with this gorgeous swing and you're just looking out over the sea in between the Pitons. Amazing, amazing rooms. So we're not talking about like just your average Holiday Inn room. This is private pool, all the things. So you're looking at upwards of 700 plus, possibly over 1,000 at this point. I definitely need to look and maybe we can put that in the show notes. But it will not be cheap. It's definitely one of those places that's like special occasion, honeymoon, once in a lifetime kind of places,
Why do I want to say David and Jamie honeymooned here too?
I don't know, but I'm lying about how much the rooms are. Let me tell you, we start for the cheapest at Jade Mountain, like the smallest, cheapest room in the off season. Looks like it's about $1,675. And
a night?
And the schwanky room, like the one on top of the resort that you would see on The Bachelor, that is just stunning. The cheapest you're getting that for is like $4,000.
Holy shit.
Oh, Ben.
Is how much?
$4,000.
Say that again. Oh my God.
$1,000. Yeah. So like I said, this is honeymoon anniversary special splash out, but it is really, really cool.
Yeah, I need to stay there for one night. Ben's here.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Ben and Sheba. Hey, did David and Jamie honeymoon in St. Lucia?
Yes. Yeah.
There we go.
Do we know what hotel?
One of the Saints. I think it was St. Lucia.
No, but I do know when they landed there, they took a private helicopter to their resort.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because let's talk about the disaster of our trip. We get to the airport in Jacksonville to fly there, and our flight to Miami to get the connecting flight to St. Lucia is just canceled. Not delayed, just canceled. And there is no other flight that day that can get us to our St. Lucia flight in time. So we go back home, which have you ever had a flight canceled and you're like at the airport and then you just have to go home? That's a really terrible, terrible feeling. I was very cranky that day. I just like laid in bed all day because all our stuff is packed and, the dogs are gone and we're just like, meow. So we didn't get to go that day. And because we didn't get to go that day, we were supposed to stay in a different part of the island for the first 2 days and then take the helicopter up to the other part of the island. But because we missed that first day, it made absolutely no sense to go to that far away part of the island for, one day that we were barely going to be there. So we added an extra day onto Ladera and skipped the helicopter altogether. So all in all, could have been worse, but we did miss a day. And it was nobody's, it wasn't weather. It wasn't anything. It was just, oh, we canceled your flight. Sorry about your bad luck.
But at least there was another one the next day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always going to be another flight from Jacksonville to Miami, just not necessarily one that gets you there in time for your St. Lucia flight. So on that note, anytime you have to be somewhere, give yourself a buffer. Fortunately, we didn't have to be there. But if you're trying to go somewhere for a cruise, do not fly the same day of your cruise.
Hey, St. Lucia sounds great. Can't wait to go. I will be sleeping outside.
Pretty much. That's my favorite part. It's $4,000 and you're kind of camping in a cozy bed.
Oh, no, I meant like financially. I will be sleeping outside.
Because you can't afford the rooms? Yeah, sure. It's crazy expensive, but also really, really cool.
Hey, sis, what is your travel tip for St. Lucia? Because obviously I haven't been there, so I don't have one.
My travel tip for St. Lucia ties into everything else we've been talking about, and that's hurricane season, because St. Lucia is in the path of potential hurricanes in the Atlantic hurricane season. So it's one of those destinations that you want to keep that in mind when you're planning. Shoulder season is always going to be cheaper and maybe better for hurricanes or not. I personally would not, like, I don't plan travel too much around hurricane season, and that is probably because my tolerance for that is very high because I'm from Florida. So I also think a lot of folks think hurricane season is the same thing as like monsoon season or a rainy season. And that's not what that means at all. It doesn't mean it's raining every single day and you're in the jungle and you're like Forrest Gump when it just starts raining and then doesn't stop for 6 months. That's not the case at all. It's just there might be a crazy storm that causes great troubles, but also there might not be. It would be kind of rare. So
could you keep it down, Ben?
Sorry, I'm in my own house. Lunch.
If you can book flexible travel plans, that's always good. Check your hotel's sort of hurricane policy before you go. I think in this day, most hotels are like, if a hurricane is coming at us, we're not going to hold you to your reservation. But it does not hurt to have travel insurance. And also, there are lots of credit cards that have sort of built-in flexibility and, cancellation and whatever. So if you can be flexible, definitely get travel insurance, and then keep an eye on the weather. You've got the folks who just are, flying, coming to Florida, coming to Disney World, and shocked that a hurricane is coming, and also very mad that their vacation is not going to be what they thought it was because Disney has to close for a day and a half. And so they're, personally disappointed because this is their once in a lifetime vacation. But, watching the weather will help you to know if you should or shouldn't make that decision. So if you're not a super flexible traveler, if it is going to stress you out to go somewhere during hurricane season and kind of have it always on your mind, just don't go to hurricane season places in hurricane season. It's very easy to avoid that. And my tolerance is so ridiculous that I planned my wedding in the Caribbean during hurricane season. So I'm like a horse of a different color, as they say. But, you still got to get travel insurance and be cool. Or just like go to Alaska or something. Go somewhere where you're not going to face that.
Very good. That was great. Can't wait to go. Let's get into what we're doing this week because, hey, everyone, you'll never guess. Ange is crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Look, girl,
I don't have a lot of hobbies.
Woman, she has been checking the Taylor Swift tickets for Miami every day for a year. And the concert's tomorrow, and she found tickets, yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday or day before.
So
week of. How long ago did I book the hotel? How long ago did I book the hotel?
1 year.
Well, I booked the Airbnb a year ago, and then I canceled that because I knew they would just cancel on us anyway, because that's what happens a lot with Airbnb. You book something far in advance to plan, and then they find out they can make more money, so they cancel and let somebody else stay there. Rude. Which I kind of guessed would happen. Anyway, we didn't get tickets through the normal Ticketmaster way, so I kind of let it go for a while. And then a couple months ago, I was like, I'm just going to get a hotel just in case, because I'm definitely going to try to get tickets. So, and you're like, oh, you're so crazy. That's so crazy. Don't do that. Aren't you glad we're staying at the Holiday Inn Express tomorrow night?
I'd rather stay at the Fontainebleau, but...
Well, you and me both, sister. I'd rather stay at the Hard Rock Casino because, girl, we have a lot of fun at casinos. Can you imagine Eras Tour and then blackjack all night? Not blackjack.
Oh, that's
Eras
still my
Tour,
plan. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Eras Tour and roulette all night.
That's great.
Dreams do come true. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, I'm going to complain about it because I always do, but then it's going to be a lot of fun. But oh my gosh, I can't believe we're going again.
I mean, I could take a stranger off the street that would probably be my best friend forever, and I wouldn't have to put up with your whining, but I am taking you.
Absolutely could.
Well, I tried to take Rick, but he wants to go, but he knows that you would have more fun than he would.
Yeah.
So, you're going to be happy once we get there.
Fabulous. Nothing's gonna happen. She's not announcing Reputation. She's not wearing a new outfit. She's not engaged. I am so
Guess
sick.
what I was-
I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Guess what I was
clowning. No,
thinking
I'm not
about
doing
wearing?
this.
Can I tell you the outfit idea I had today?
Is it a clown?
It's literally the Reputation outfit with a clown nose.
I don't hate that.
And there's a Spirit Halloween on every corner. So how hard can it be to find a clown nose right now? Not that hard. We're going, and I'm super excited. And then you're going to direct all next week, so you'll be out of town.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. I will be in Long Island, which will be a lot of fun.
I'm really
It's a very
jealous.
busy
I bet
week.
I bet it's beautiful up there right now. It's the fall. It's October in New York. It's going to be
Crunchy.
spectacular.
It's gonna be crunchy leaves.
I'm a little bit jealous.
It's gonna be nice. All right, I have lunch waiting for me, so we got to wrap this puppy up.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and thanks for your patience as we navigated the past couple weeks of hurricanes and power outages and all that. Hopefully that is behind us for this year and we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
You know the drill. Thanks for watching. We love you. Goodbye.